Hi, my name is Heather from the Mid-North Cordell branch, and here are 3 recommendations for true crime. Whether or not you've heard of the legendary true crime novel, The Stranger Beside Me, you probably at some point heard of the author, Ann Rule. She's famous because she wrote over 30 true crime bestsellers in her lifetime. And what is interesting about Ann Rule is that her name might not have become synonymous with true crime if it wasn't for a co-worker of hers. In 1971, she volunteered at a crisis center hotline in Seattle. The handsome young psychology student that sat beside her was none other than Ted Bundy. He would go on to become the main character of her first book, The Stranger Beside Me. I'm a bit obsessed with this book for one particular reason. At what point did Ann Rule realize that Ted Bundy was serial killer that so many law enforcement agencies have been looking for? She had been a police officer for one point in her life. It seems to me in the book she gives him an extreme level of the benefit of the doubt. Did she smell a book deal? I kind of think so. But I highly encourage you to read the book and form your own opinion. Despite having a title that no one seems to be able to remember correctly, Killers of the Flower Moon has become a super popular book since it was released as a Leonardo DiCaprio film in 2023. I saw the movie and it was great. It's probably going to win some Oscars, but it doesn't compare to the book. The book is about a series of murders that happened in the Osage Nation during the 1920s. It is not a spoiler to tell you that most of the murders were performed by white men that had married women in the Osage Nation during an oil boom. Yes, they were murdering their wives and in-laws for money. I think the movie downplays the behavior of the men and the effect that it had on their new families. Reading this book will give you a better understanding of exactly how cruel these men were. Murder Book, a graphic memoir of a true crime obsession, is a definite departure from the 2 other books that I'm recommending to you. It is a love letter of sorts in graphic novel form to all lovers of true crime. It's for anyone that's ever been asked, "Ooh, how can you read something so dark and morbid?" The author, Hilary Fitzgerald Campbell, hilariously shares her experiences with this type of question and takes us on a journey of how she became a true crime fan. I only have a few minutes for this video, so I'm going to cheat and recommend some other true crime books for you here and here. This right here is really good. Just do that.